we are going to make a bruschetta and mushroom cheese ravioli. And you can add chicken if you want to. It's okay if you don't. I'm gonna do all vegetarian option here, but lacto-ovo vegetarian. I've got some ingredients already laid out so I can kind of browse through this pretty quickly. I'm gonna give my phone to my munchkin and he is going to hold on to it and we're gonna walk through this. We've got some tomatoes that I've already started to dice. We're gonna do the bruschetta first and then we're gonna go into the making our fresh pesto. Some garlic, basil, all of my peels for my garlic, a basil plant. These are pine nuts. You'll need that for your pesto. Some extra virgin olive oil. Got some balsamic vinegar, Parmesan cheese, some mushrooms for later. All right, so I'm gonna give my phone to little dude. All right, so just real briefly, I'm going to show you guys how to get this bruschetta going real fast. I've got some basil that's been sharonade into this little bowl right here. I'm gonna show you how to do that. The diced tomatoes, which are here, some garlic cloves, that's about 2 garlic cloves worth. So I'm gonna add my diced tomatoes right into there too. And these do not have to be seeded. I like to use the grape tomatoes because I just think they're a little more flavorful. So you're gonna wanna cut this guy in half. And then you're gonna cut him into a quarter. And same thing.
Mommy, can you do it again? I got when you were cutting it with your hand.
You know, I got my hand. I'll do another one.
Okay.
So you're gonna make sure you got your fingers tucked in, guys. And you're gonna cut these tomatoes, which this one is not wanting to cooperate very well. I should have done it the other way. So make sure your fingers are tucked in, guys. Claw method. And you're just gonna dice those up. Same thing here. My hand's in the way. So let me do this kind of backwards. So this is not gonna be the correct way because I'm gonna do this backwards so you guys can see it a little better. All right, so here's your tomato and you're going to cut it in half. Can you see that, buddy?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then you're gonna cut it into a quarter. And the same thing here. My hands are not really in the right places because I want you guys to see. And so then you're just gonna take this and you're gonna cut it again. And then you can choose to cut them one more time to make your smaller pieces. And do the same thing. You can cut it in half again, so that's an 1/8. And trying to get it to where you can see. And you're just gonna fine dice those guys right on up. And you can choose whatever size you want your pieces to be. I like them all different sizes. They don't have to be uniform by any means. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to sharonade that basil to go in here. So you'll take your leaf and you can put several together. And then you're going to take them and you're going to kind of roll them right on up. Make a nice little roll. And then you're going to take your knife, tuck those fingers in, and then you're going to make little tiny strips. And that's going to be your strips and sharonade of basil. And I'm going to throw that right in there. Same thing for garlic. So I use fresh garlic because it tastes better. I'm gonna get you a whole bulb so you can see because some of you guys are new. This is it in its casing. You can break it or you can cut it to peel it. That's what all of this junk over here is all of my garlic peel. But they'll pop right on out. Over here, buddy.
I know. Hold on.
So they'll pop right on out. You want to probably cut your harder ends off because they don't taste very good. And get rid of those. I'm gonna throw this over here. So this one's kind of flat and large. So I'm gonna show you how to dice it real fast and it's gonna go, can you see?
Yeah, I can see it down here.
So you're just gonna make your thin little cuts all the way across. And then I'm gonna try to, I'm doing this so backwards so you guys can see and it's kind of hard.
But you're doing it good.
So tuck those fingers in and then just make some nice, easy little cuts. And if you need to do it again, that's fine. And then that's gonna go right into this bowl. All right, so we have tomatoes, we have basil, we have garlic. So now you're gonna add Parmesan cheese. It's about half a cup right there. And then you're going to add your balsamic vinegar. I'm going to tell you about probably about 1/8 of a cup to 1/4 of a cup. You won't know until you mix it up. And then just a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. I'm gonna grab some salt and pepper real fast.
Ooh, yum yum. Yummy lemon, yummy cheese, yummy food.
Alright, so I'm just gonna add some salt in there.
Yum yum. Yummy yummy salt. Yummy yummy pepper.
Add some fresh cut pepper. I like more pepper. So grab a spoon. I'm just gonna mix this guy right on up. Right. So that's mixed in really nice. Give it a good toss, make sure everything's coated very well. Let you guys get a good look at that. You can see. Actually, I'm going to add just a little more basil because I love basil. So same thing, I'll walk you through this one again. You're just gonna roll it up. And then just make your little tiny cuts and sharing on that right on out. And there's your nice little thin strips of basil. I'm gonna throw that in there too.
This angle looks really good. The cutting. With the cutting angle looks real good.
All right, so we're gonna set this in the fridge for a little bit.
The yummy yummy lemon.
All right. So now I've got ravioli that I'm gonna use for my pasta tonight. You can use pretty much any pasta you want to use. So let's go over how to make pesto. This works a lot better in a food processor, but we discovered the last time that my food processor bit the dust, so this is what I got. So you're gonna want about 2 cups of basil. You can use a plant or you can use it like this. This is how it comes in the grocery store. It's just a little package. And I'm gonna throw this right into my blender. And I'm gonna throw a couple extra leaves in here.
Daddy,
to
Robert's here.
stop and pay attention, please.
Daddy.
All right, this is half a cup of extra virgin olive oil. So I'm gonna drizzle about half of that in there. And then these are my pine nuts. This is 1/3 of a cup of pine nuts. I'm gonna throw that in there too. And then we're gonna use the pulse just to kind of chop it up a little bit. And then I'm gonna have to grab a spoon a couple times and give it a quick stir so we can get those pine nuts good and ground up. I'll move it down so you can see again here in a minute, William.
Okay.
All right, so we want those pine nuts to get nice and fine. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little squeeze of lemon juice in there. And then do the same thing. Just give that a quick little... And then now, oh, it's starting to smell good. I'm going to add some Parmesan cheese. And then some salt and pepper. Salt, little pepper. 2 cloves of garlic.
Boyd, be quiet.
All right, same thing. We're just going to... Like I said, this works a lot better in a food processor. It's gonna have a lot more pretty color to it as well. The rest of my oil in here. All right. So it kind of looks like a green smoothie instead of pesto because of my blender, but it's going to taste just the same. So I'm just going to pour this into here. And a little pesto goes a long way. I'm making a mess, guys.
Oh no. It's the messy mommy.
All right. So there's my pesto. We're gonna start the main course. So I've got water that's already salted on the stove for the ravioli. We're going to go saute some mushrooms. So we're gonna come over here. I'm gonna turn my heat to medium high. A little drizzle of olive oil. And we're gonna let that get good and hot. These are already washed and sliced, so they're ready to go. So I'm gonna put those in there. Our water is coming to a boil here. Crank it up just a little bit. And because I don't want my ravioli to stick, I'm gonna put just a splash of oil in that as well. And we are gonna start part 2 of this video in just a minute. Or actually we'll start part 2 in just a minute. Let me get this pan good and hot and we'll go from there. We got water on here boiling. We'll start it. And I'll start with the second video here in just a minute.